alone. All the power belongs to you alone. All power belongs to you alone. Once you have spoken, twice I have heard. All power belongs to you alone. And when you have spoken, it surely comes to pass. All power belongs to you alone. All power belongs to you alone. All power belongs to you. All the power, it belongs to you alone. To you alone. Once you have spoken, twice I have heard. All power belongs to you. And when you have spoken, it surely comes to pass. All power belongs to you alone. All power belongs. It belongs to you alone. It belongs to you. Power belongs to you alone. All power belongs. It belongs to you alone. All the power belongs to you alone.
We speak, they listen. We teach, they learn. High radio, redefining radio.
Toi à qui je dois tout, na yelio motema nangai. Yo bolingo yambo mwana nanga okomisanga molobi milimo Yesue. Okutanga ya wana mulongo oleki oponise ngai oyo. Nesika otianga mosali olienanga na mesa na yo. Mbai bakana ngai oyo kobeba mbakutinga na zoyemba. Bilombe bakananga na bitumba bakutinga pembeni na ye. Eyeba naye na ye. Eyeba naye na ye. ibana na ya yo bolingo motema nanga ibana nazaya masumu nazalaki nango osokola opetola na makila na ye banyongo elataki nzoto na ngai ofuta na ye tola na moto bonzambe na ye yango na ye na nzembo olenge na nga koloba melesi yaya ebana nazaya mabe kasi nakoma baluka ngai basalanga mabe nga nakoma libakwa malamu nabeta na selo esayo Yesu asiosa koyebana na yo antako asie azala peti ya kokakolianga te mpona seyo.
Yes, welcome to the Hour of Restoration, coming your way live each and every week with a new topic and each and every period with a new theme. We have started with a theme, or we have been speaking about the theme, the art of making a slave, which might seem a bit difficult to grasp, might seem a bit difficult to understand. You might wonder why in 2022 people are still talking about things like the art of making a slave or slavery in general. So if you have any questions, know that you can always find us. If you are like, why do you guys always come back to topics like this? We're always up to explain why we say what we say and why we do what we do. So without further ado, I have two of my brothers with me here today. We'll have a conversation about last week's topic. And after that, we'll get straight into the new teaching of today. My brother Shalom and my brother APC. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fine. Yeah.
Doing fine?
Doing fine. Okay.
You're looking good.
Oh, gracias.
Brother ABC, you are looking even better.
Oh,
no. It looks better. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, you're doing fine?
yes. Contra,
So I'm happy to see you guys. You guys are both looking good. So we thank you for that. I'm also doing fine. Everything is going according to plan, so nothing to complain about. So last week we concluded actually the topic of the art of making a slave, right? And we touched on the black prophets, as the teaching was called, or more talking about our own pastors, right? In our churches, the black pastors, the black teachers, whatever you want to call it. And it was a topic which had a lot of information. And I want to know from you, APC, like, how did you experience that topic? What did you kind of learn, or what was maybe something which struck your mind, or that you find really interesting about the topic?
Everything I found interesting, especially the part with the black man that went to Holland. And
Holland,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
and follow on. They brainwashed him, and they made sure when he went back, they gave him the triple C's. And I forgot what the triple C's were.
Yeah,
but
the triple C's was, I believe, colonization, commerce, and Christianity.
It really struck me because when you look at how small Holland is and how big the lands are which they were colonizing, I was always thinking, how could such a small country colonize such a big country, but it was that they used a very crafty way by taking our own people, brainwashing them, and send them back to brainwash the rest of it and make the rest weak so that they could conquer. It was I thought about it, and it was a very wicked strategy which they used back in the days.
So so I think that was like the crux of the message of what we were discussing. So what we discussed last week, if you missed it, it was simply about how when it came to us, you may call us Africans, you may call us black people, because it's not only Africans, it also goes for the people in South America, like in Brazil, in Suriname, in Curacao, wherever. When it comes to us and the people who colonized us, they used our own brothers, they used our own people to teach us a religion which did not help us forward in any way, shape, or form. Shalom, what was something that was really interesting for you about the topic?
For me, it was more the timeline in its whole, because I don't know if they sat down maybe for 1 year and they'd be like, let me do this, let me put all these outlets here and there, and then all of a sudden,
who is they, like Europeans?
The Europeans. I find it really interesting how maybe if it happened by coincidence or they planned it years already beforehand. That was really interesting, because first, South America, then they go to South America, then they come back to Africa to teach, and then they go back to Europe, and then they will then they are the black preachers. So you have to have a certain level of
planning skills
and descendants to plan that much ahead.
Do you think that it's still happening today? Because we looked at the example that the brother gave. For the people who maybe want to Google it, there was a certain Ghanaian young intelligent boy by the name of now the name they gave him was Jacobus Kapitein. His original name, Asari was his original name. So they took him from Ghana, they brought him to the Netherlands where we live, and they educated him in Christianity and in a way that he would open up Ghana, let's say, for things like religious indoctrination, and that would also open the way for things like colonization and trade, whatever. So they used a young Ghanaian boy, and they taught him, and they sent him back to Ghana so that he could teach them
and start a church.
Be apostle. Exactly. But do you think that that's the exact way that it still happens today? Is this something that is still being done to us as a people until today?
Yeah, for sure. Only it's not more that they would force it anymore, because everything has been made perfect already. So it's not that they will force and then take someone, grab them from the family, and then let them bring in the Netherlands schools. And no. Now it's more that we have already born into Christianity, born into a new religion, we are forgetting our past so much that indeed people will do it willingly, thinking for them it's willingly, but they do not know the boundaries that where they are actually operating in. So indeed it happens today, but not forced, but because it's now they are operating in a certain boundary. And of course, if you go they will not give you a teaching or a school or a degree as much high when you're going and operating in let's say traditional Africa, and then let's say, okay, you will send you back to Africa to teach your fellow black people about the traditions and the history and so on. No, they would give you degrees according to what they want to give you the degree to.
So you're saying that if a black man or an African would want to teach his own people like their own history and traditions, then they would never give you
the full history and the true history, because they will teach you their history. So in that you're already off.
So they teach us their history, or the way they want us to understand our own history. That's what they don't give us the truth in history, but they give us their version of our history, and they use our own people to teach us their version of history.
And that's how schools are now being set up.
Do you mean Bible schools?
Or
schools
Bible
in general?
schools, of course, Bible schools, because it's really subtle. It starts with a lot of truth, and then with one or two lies.
Yeah.
So, for example, so it's not only Bible schools. I would say the whole educational system. They would say this is Africa, right? And there is Europe, and you say, of course it's this Africa, of course it's Europe, but they will change the sizes of it.
Yeah.
So, and also the same thing with Bible schools. They will say there is Adam, there is Eve, there is Moshe, there is everything, but they will just
Change the
put
color.
Trinity in it, for example. And then, so when you go as a black man to the European schools, you would climb, you would get your degrees, you'll be masters in everything. You'll go back to your people. Then you the only thing you have to say, I went to an European school. Then black man will follow.
You are praised for that. And like, based on what you're saying, that when it comes to let's say Africans or Bantu people or South American people, when they go to study in European schools, they are taught like the European narrative. They are taught the European version of their own history, and that is what they then use to go and teach their own people. And APC, like, we see a lot of our own pastors, right? A lot of our own ministers, they still go to the Bible schools, which were being used in those days for the wrong reasons. They are still heading that way until today. Is there anything wrong with a pastor or a young person who is maybe ambitious, who wants to teach or who wants to do whatever? Is it wrong for them to go to a Bible school?
Now, I find it wrong if you reject your own and accept one that is not yours. And the Bible schools, it's wrong. I say it's wrong because what they teach you is not correct. They don't give you the full story. It is not even close to what the education or school system gives to the children. What you get at the Bible schools is nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
Can you give an example of that?
Why? Because it has been filtered on so many things. The Bible story which they tell you, they will bend it from Genesis all the way to Revelation. They will bend it to their favor. Because if you study it correctly, the Bible in itself, it is not wrong. But the one that teaches it makes it wrong. And what they teach to these children, we see the result of it. Many of them, because of these Bible schools, they start to reject their own culture, their own names, where they come from. All of that is the result of these Bible schools. It seems like it's like what the scripture tells us. They come like they come like a sheep, but inside they are wolves. They come in peace, like, this one will save your soul. But in the end, you will end up in hell, and it doesn't bring anything good. Since these Bible schools were started in Africa all the way till today, nothing has happened for us. We went only down and down, blinder and blinder, from generation to generation. Back in the days, the people had a little bit of culture, but now it is wrong. It is gone. These Bible schools, what we see today, what the colonizer brought to us, it has caused us to reject our own, to hate ourselves. For if someone comes and tells you you are the one of the descendants of the same Bible that you will read, they will tell you no. It is these white people that brought us. They are the descendants of these people of the Bible. So it is wrong.
And like, do you have an example of what ministers or pastors that go to a Bible school, is there something which they, for example, teach, of which you can say that, okay, this is something that the most ministers learn at the Bible school, but it's actually wrong?
Yes, number one, they have no law. They have no law. If you don't have law, it's wrong. If you go to Den Haag, the government, they have a law inside the chambers there. If you go to UK, their politician system got a law. But if you go to the Bible school, the first thing they will teach you, there is no law. Everything that they teach you, rapture, they teach you not to follow the Sabbath. They teach you to eat whatever you want. They teach you it doesn't matter who the Israelites are. So they teach you so many falsehoods, but in a covering of good. But on the end of it, the result,
And Shalom, what do you want to add?
Yeah, it's also that. But I'll not also add. I also have a question, because your question was then: is it bad for people to
go to the Bible school
to obtain more knowledge, to grow?
No. I did not say is it bad for people to obtain more knowledge.
Yeah, like, to be ambitious. You use the word.
No, I was like saying that is it bad for maybe for people to actually go to a Bible school and be taught at a Bible school? And I use the example, maybe there is a young ambitious guy or girl that wants to teach whatever, and she or he wants to go to a Bible school to get information. But is it wrong to look for that information at the Bible school?
And my question is then, where should they get it then? Now, this present time.
I don't have an answer for that. Like there are different ways.
The easiest way nowadays is Bible school. Now, I'm not saying it's good or wrong. I'm just saying that the easiest way now to obtain more knowledge than what you have is nowadays Bible schools.
Back in the days, the Bible, how were they giving knowledge to each other? It was not to a school. The whole point of that Bible school, it came from somewhere. Exactly. We didn't have it. The Messiah didn't have it. The prophets didn't have it. It came later. If you read our traditions, we pass our knowledge to communication, just sitting and talking, elaborating with each other. And so we gain knowledge. And sitting at the knees of the elder, he would teach you life. But they came with a system that is out of order, how we Bantu, how we black people were teaching. If you look how Abraham was passing his knowledge to Isaac and Jacob was by sitting to his knees. You sit and you listen. But they came with a system, a school system that gives you a degree. Seeking for knowledge it is not wrong. It is good. But seeking for knowledge in a certain organization kind of thing, which the foundation of it is already wrong. Because Bible school, the term Bible school, Bible school, you'll get the most knowledge by hanging out, elaborating with each other, changing knowledge. That's how you gain knowledge, by talking to people. If I sit down with Minister Jeff for an hour, I will gain more knowledge than going to a Bible school, because he will teach me life. And that's how the prophet did back in the days. That's how the Messiah did. When the Messiah was with the crowd, he talked with parables. But behind the scene where they were chilling, he was breaking bread, telling them how life was. But now we have a system created that there must be a pastor, somebody. A teacher does not have to stand in front of a class. A teacher, you can also be a teacher to your friend by communication. That's how our forefathers were passing the knowledge generation after generation until the white man came with the school system.
I think that's a good point, because like it seems as if a lot of the time we want to modernize certain ways. We want to look for new ways to kind of reach the same goal as the people of the book. But we are trying to do it in different ways or something special, because the APC asked a good question. Like, you asked first the question, like, okay, how should you get the knowledge? And then he asked, like, okay, how did the people in the Bible actually share the knowledge, right? So what would you say, Shalom, like, if a person is maybe interested in going to a Bible school, would you tell them to go and try to balance the information out? Or what would you say to such a person?
Of course, for in all things, right? There's always a thing you have to apply it to, or narrow it down to first principles, because there are certain key foundations in any structure. So I think the point what he was making is also that when you read the scripture and you already think that this scripture is talking about a certain people, or a certain nation, then your foundation, everything around it is already wrong, right? Because that's the start of all things. So when you build up a system, a school, an institution based on a group of people which are not even referred to in the scriptures, then everything breaks. Then the whole big thing, it can collapse within seconds.
And do you think that Africans go or really like to go to Bible schools because they believe that the Europeans are the people of the book? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Not Europeans, I would
or
say.
Or the white people, that white people are
the
people
Israelis.
Of the book, or the Israelis.
We will touch it today.
Yeah, do you think that is the reason why black people want to learn from white people or European people or so-called Jews?
They believe that they have the truth.
They believe that they are the ones who have the truth,
the understanding, the breakdown
with regards to the Bible, with
exactly.
regards to Elohim, with regards to.
That's why they would love to go to such institutions and universities. So that's it's also so that's the main thing you would actually also want to
tackle
add up on what he also said. So that's why the scripture also said he will bring a person or a prophet from amongst them. So of course we all do research, right? In research you will have so many strange sources and proclamations and so but indeed it have to give you that critical thinking continually, because even the things that we discuss here, we ourselves say that what we know today might not even be the same as next year.
Yeah.
So so that includes also in that in that critical thinking, always going back to the first principle. What's the essence of all things? And I don't think that these things you can learn it at school. We all know you cannot learn critical thinking at school. They just give you
a curriculum,
2 by 2,
follow it,
+4,
and obey.
Just get your 8, your 9s.
So if you say that, like black people in general, they believe that it is the European or the white man that holds the truth when it comes to the Bible and the scripture, and that is the reason why they have a tendency to only listen to preaching or to listen to information when it comes from.
They will not listen to you.
A European or white man. It will be really difficult for them to listen to me, for example. But if that is the case, APC, then does it mean that what Shalom says is the way to go? Should we first break down who holds the truth when it comes to the Elohim of the Bible? Is that the first thing that a person has to realize before it kind of opens his mind to everything which is written in the Bible?
If you read the Bible, it's definitely important. If you read the Bible and you read about the feelings of the God of the Bible, you will see how necessary it is, because he did a lot for that people. He did a lot. It hurts the God of the Bible, how the world say. When I read it, it's like a diary. You read Jeremiah, Isaiah, the Elohim is begging his people. He loves his people so much. The whole book is about his people. So if that one is taken out, I don't think that the Elohim of the Bible will like it, because he have a certain love for his people. But there came a nation that took that away from him. And that's, I think that is very important.
And like, if that is so relevant, right? If that's so important, you say the people of the Bible. Like nowadays, someone would look up and immediately they would point to Israel and would be like, okay, they are the people. They claim that they have the Ark of the Covenant. They wear the hats. They wear the tzitzit. And they do the hair. So they do everything, right? Which seems biblical.
They do the Sabbath also.
They do the Sabbath, right? They have the Torah, everything, right? But how should a person then do research to who the people of the Bible actually are? Because some people say they are the people of the book. We don't believe that they are the people of the book. Many other people don't believe that they are the people of the book. How does a person go about doing research to find out which specific people the Bible is actually talking about.
Yeah, listen to our restoration. Yeah, man. Listen to our. Now, I would say just make use of the internet. Google, just ask on Google. They will answer you. It is quite a short answer, but for I would say there are many sources now. Just type for yourself, who are the real Israelites? Do think out of the box for a while. For we've been thinking for the same way for a long time. But now, if you are on a point that you want to think, you have questions, that means you have to start to think out of the box. For there are many ways. Back in the days, it was very difficult to find the truth. You had to read books, but now they have really many tools. Elohim is merciful, and he has used the wicked one so that those that want to know him, they can make use of it. You don't have to go to the library. How many people do you see in the library? Here in Amsterdam East, the library is always empty. You will find 2 or 3 people. Why? We have social media. Everything that you can find there, you can find at home. But the thing that I would tell the people, I will ask them, just ask yourself, before the Second World War, where were the Jews in Palestine? They came after the Second World War.
Israel actually did not exist before the
and since and you have to ask yourself the question, if they are the people, since they got in that country, what is the state of the people that were living there? They came as refugees, but go look now, who are the refugees there?
And even like this is something important, or this is something which kind of makes me think, because you said, okay, where were the people of Israel prior to the Second World War? And it is not logical, because the Bible talks about a people who lived 2,000 years ago. They existed more than 2,000 years ago, but the land which you call Israel and the people who you call Israelis, that land did not exist in the day of your grandpa. Right? When your grandpa was alive, your grandfather was alive, the country Israel did not exist. So how can a Bible that was written for people more than 2,000 years ago talk about that specific place and those people? Logically, it doesn't make sense.
And they were even trying to once sort of try to capture the land that they have right now, right? Which is Israel, which we call Israel.
Which we call Israel. We call it Israel. We call it Israel.
Yeah. Or even when you also look into history, you would see that they were first trying to capture a land also in Africa, around Kenya or Uganda. And then they were first trying to capture that. The law didn't pass, and they say, hey, wait, what? Let's go full force to another land. It doesn't make sense, right? If Elohim appoints a country or a land or promised land, it sticks there from 2,000 years ago even up until now. So it's like it's all man-made, man.
Yeah. That's also interesting. Something to kind of do research on. Shalom, you mentioned it. Like they were even trying to establish, as you said, the promised land in Africa. Does that make sense? So the Israel that you know, it did not start there. They were trying to make Israel a land in Africa, Uganda. So I have no words for it. Like it logically just doesn't make sense. Shalom, how did you found out who the real people of the book were?
Was with a friend. With middelbare school, ROC, I don't know what to say, college. There was it was always a friend. You say, black people are the one. I said, bro, get out of here. So he was always talking about these things and so, and of course it didn't match up with his lifestyle because he was, you have those sorts of Hebrew Israelites. They just say it and so, and he was my classmate. And then he was saying all these things multiple times, and then also with him and one Dominican guy, and a Suriname guy. So then they were talking about all these things, and I said, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
So I think years later, then I came across brothers and also you.
This was college, so this was like more than like 10 years, more than 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. RSA.
Wow.
MBO.
So then they
College.
were already young boys talking about. Yeah. Okay, but go ahead.
So and then and of course he would also bash Christianity a bit and so, and I was like, hey, bro,
leave me and my Christianity.
leave me alone. Exactly. So it's a natural process. Of course, when you hear it for the first time,
you can't accept it.
Of course not. Your whole foundation. You went to church every Sunday. You did everything. So it's not natural.
You do communion.
So then I think the first time I really encountered and really had a breakdown was in the year 2015 or so. That was also when this group also came into place, and when I heard it for the first time I was like, is it necessary? Is it needed? Is it what added value can it have to know these things? But of course, the breakdown was unrefutable. You cannot
infallible proofs, sources and scriptures.
Too much. So then of course you I would also say another part of it's also grace, because why did I refute it long years ago, and now I would hearken onto it. So I cannot say that I did this and this, and therefore I came into this kind of knowledge and understanding. But what I can say is that when you hear something for the first time, do not reject it. You might never know what it is and how it can add up to your life. Because that's why I would also like the principle of this gathering is also that read everything. I was like, just study, read everything. Read the Quran, read the Talmud, read the scriptures, read the laws books, read history, biology, everything, so that you can have the whole holistic understanding of everything. And I think that really helped also the growth also and the understanding of
I have two final questions before we round up. I'm not sure whether the minister is already here, but I have two questions in conclusion. Like, one is like, if somebody has never heard of this before, has never heard of the possibility that the people whom he or she calls Jews are not the people of the Bible, right? It's possible that somebody has never heard of it before. What specific piece of information would you advise the people to start looking for? It can be a tribe, it can be a country, it can be an item. Do you understand the question?
Yeah.
Let me start first, and then I want the example from you guys, so that the people can have something to work with. I would say, if you are starting this journey, first of all, try to study the Lemba Jews or the Falasha Jews in Ethiopia. And why am I saying this is because these are specific people whom the ones you call Jews themselves, they have said, not us, but they have said that these people actually are descendants of the Hebrew Israelites who the Bible talks about. And how is that possible if both of them are African people and the Jews are European people? So how can they be the same, right? I would advise you to kind of start researching them in a nutshell. What did you guys say?
Then I would give something from the scripture itself. Because not you have some historian people who are listening. You have some spiritual people who are listening. So I think that's the simplest thing to start with from the scriptures. Just go to blueletterbible.com or bible.com and just search for the word black. And search them for the word white, for example, or European, and see how much and how often which of the words you would see, and also put it also in context for, okay, read them the whole chapter. Oh, okay, so basically, was he referring himself or not? And then, so I would say black, white, and Ethiopian.
Black, white, and Ethiopia. So look for those specific words in the Bible and kind of read how it is used in context of the word. Okay, APC?
I would tell the person to start read and the verse in Revelation, I think it's 3 verse 3, where it says that I know there are people that call themselves Jews, but they are not Jews. I would tell them to use that as a foundation and go to the internet and seek for all types of Jews, what type of Jews they are, and just put them on list and filter them.
So,
okay. Last question I'll ask to Shalom before we round up. We are now getting to a new theme, right? The theme is called "Everybody is Deceived."
Good one.
That is the name of the theme, and the topic we will handle today is talking about the Israelis or the Ashkenazi. I did not plan for us to have the conversation about them, but that's how it went. So, what do you think that we will touch? What do you have any expectations to where we are heading to? What would you like to see covered?
I hopefully confirmations of what we just discussed, because maybe, as you said, maybe we did not plan to go this way. But hopefully confirmation of that which we discover. Because if they say everybody is deceived and there's a certain name or nation attached to it, then it have to be infallible.
Infallible proof.
Hoe spreek het uit?
Infallible proof. But I thank you guys for joining me in today's conversation. It was insightful, and I like the fact that we gave some tools that the people could use themselves. You can research that literally in an hour in your day, and you will come to certain information. So thank you guys for today. And if you are listening from home, notice you can ask any question that you like. If you want help with a research for a specific topic, you can ask us a question. We'll try to send you sources. We'll try to send you information. If you don't have time to listen to this show for 2 hours, but you simply want the direct sources, is really possible. Tell a friend to tune in a short 5 to 10 minutes. We'll get into the new topic that we have for today. The theme is called Everybody is Deceived, and the topic is the Israelis or the Ashkenazi Jews. Tell a friend to tune in. We'll be right back in a short 5 to 10 minutes.
We bless Elohim, we glorify Elohim. We are grateful for today. We are here by His mercies, we are here by His grace. We are here because He has sustained us. It is not by our own doings, it is not by our own strength, but it is by the one who shows mercy and compassion. We are grateful for the life, we are grateful for the strength. We thank Him for watching over us and even our family members and our friends as well. And we bless Him for all of the prophets from the days of Adam, the first man, to the last one according to the law, John the Baptist. We bless Elohim for all of them who came and spoke with regards to the one who was to come. We bless Him for the apostles and the epistles they wrote for the assemblies, so that maybe through that they might be able to dissect or explain some new information. And we can never thank Him enough for the one who was hidden even in the seventh heaven, the Son of Man Himself, who has revealed unto us His right hand and shown to us the 7 stars of the heavens and that which ought to come. The scripture said that, behold, He cometh with clouds, and all eyes shall see Him, including the ones who pierced Him, and behold, they shall mourn for Him like their own kind. We are grateful for Abba Elohim for all of the messengers. We have never claimed that we are the only people that are trying to establish the truth or build the walls that are broken. We are part of dead people. There are many hidden. Unfortunately, Yah does not allow them to be seen on Facebook or on YouTube, but they are there. So we bless Yah that we are able to come in your midst and show you some things. It has not been easy, the work has not been easy, the journey has never been easy. But nothing is easy on this earth. Even taking a bath, you have to put in some effort. Even you wanting to eat, if you don't do some movements, you will not be able to satisfy your tongue. So we bless Yah Elohim, and we thank Him for how far He has brought us, and I hope that you are still doing well, that you are still trying to know Him. It's a process, as we always keep on telling you. It's not a sprint, it is a marathon, so please take your time and don't let anyone tell you that you have to run. Take your time and do your own research, Don't force things. If you don't understand, you don't understand. Ask questions. And hopefully you will be able to hear from Yah Elohim. Today's message, as it has already been established, is known as Everybody is Deceived. And then we have narrowed it down to the Israelis, or what you call the Ashkenazi Jews. Over the years, we have been told by ministers from the churches about the Israelis, who they refer to as Jews. They told us that these are the chosen people of Yah, and that I remember whenever in those days when they were teaching about rapture, that I used to ask them, but how about the Jews? And they used to tell me, oh, don't worry. And then they used the example of Joseph. that when Joseph was revealing himself to his brothers in the land of Kemet or Egypt, the wife, which is the bride of Joseph, was not in the palace. So what that means is that we as a church, being the bride, the Messiah shall rapture us away, and then he will send Eliah and and another one, Moses, they said, who will come and then reveal unto the Jews that no, the Messiah has already come and gone, and that they have to accept him. So we shouldn't bother about them. God knows how to deal with this.
The wife was not in the palace.
It sounds so mysterious and deep. But the sad thing is that there's no reference in the scriptures. So the question that, and this is only one thing with regards to this topic. There are other topics, and you will see that they will link some things which are not written. And unfortunately for us, no one is allowed to counter them. It's like you just have to accept it. But the question that we have to ask ourselves is, who told them these things? Because you can't tell me that out of their own, all of them made it up. Someone, through an institution, has been teaching them those statements. The same as when you try to establish the color of the real Hebrews. All of a sudden they tell you, oh, the Hebrews, no, they are not white, they are olives.
Olives.
But just look at the picture on your phone, the first slide, and look at these guys, whether they look like olives. Look at the guy all the way down on your left. Yeah. How this guy is an olive. Look at his hands. This guy is whiter than Donald Trump. Yet we've been told that, oh, they are olives. When we talk about colors, we just accept it and move on. And like our brother said, olives, we don't have white olives. It's black or green. These people don't look green to me. They are not groene mannetjes. Like the Hulk. Or the what is the name?
Shrek and Hulk.
Shrek.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Those days.
Groene mannetjes. People from space. But somehow, some way, they've managed to sell it to us. And all of these churches have been teaching it. And when you bring up the topic, then all of a sudden you become like the outcast. It's like you are rebelling against. What did the pastor tell you?
Daniel, he doesn't sit under the authority or something like that. He has to sit under the authority.
So it's just it's total madness. But the question that I just want to ask you today is, let's just remove all churches. Let's remove all the Bible schools. Let's remove the influence of your parents. And let's place you in a room. You are born. You've never heard about the scriptures. And now it has been handed over to you. And you've been able to read it from Genesis to Revelation. When you were asked the question, what was the color of the people of this book? Will you be able to tell me that they are white boys? So someone has instituted something and it's being enforced. I remember at church before I leave, I had this
this argument with them, with the leaders. I used to teach the Bible, the small boys and the small girls, what they call the youth. And so they spoke to me with regards to what they've heard, that I've been teaching some strange messages. And I'm saying that the Hebrews are not white, but they are black. Then the olive thing came up. So I asked them, I'm like, see, I'm ready to like share with you what I know. So why don't you also bring like your arguments? And they just told me, they are now going to do the research. Yet, it's not even how long. When I was coming to this studio, it came into my head. I'm like, the person boldly said that what you are teaching is false. Yet when you ask him to prove what he believes, he's not going to do his research. It is only a Negro that will be able to do that. That he is saying that something is false, but he himself, what he knows, he can't even defend. And we are still waiting. Sometimes I see them on the market and they are laughing. I'm like, see?
Research.
They are not going to do any research. So I hope that today, by the time we are done, we are taking our time, we are going through all the slides. How many slides do we have? I think 30 something, 30. We'll go through all of them so that you will get an understanding. There is no program after us. So we'll go through all of them, but it will be quicker anyway, so that you may understand. Because once you have wronged the people of whom the book speaks of, then when it comes to you identifying the prophecies, everything you know is false. Because the whole thing about the scriptures is centered around some people. So the Messiah used them, and he used to call them the fig tree. So now Duncan Williams will tell you that the fig tree, because it has already been gathered, the rapture is imminent. And these people have been there for like 70 years now, almost 100 years. The word imminent is now. It's not two years later. 70 years later, it's still imminent. Why? Because we have been trained to look at the wrong people. So now, like, you've seen the teachings. Many people are waiting that, then there will be a third temple, and they are looking when the third temple is built. That's when you know this truth, you don't wait for third or fourth or fifth temple. Whatever they want to build, they will build. But it has nothing to do with Elohim. But if you don't know that now you are waiting for a so-called third temple to be built, and then according to you, the Antichrist will go there and sit in there and say that he is. But the scripture says that that the Antichrist was and is and is to come.
That's right.
It's not something new. So I hope you will get it. I hope you will understand it. We don't come here like when they were doing the table talk. I think Enrique asked a question. How the heck can they tell you that the members, which are Bantu by nature, their DNA is 100% black, that they are of the stock of Israel, and then you have white people? Which country, if it's not done through slavery, has two types of people in them? When you go to China, you have Chinese. All of them look the same. The Bakaras, the European, Western, they all look the same. The Arab, they all look the same. Unless someone else has moved from his region and is living there. like in South Africa. Now you have the whites, and now you have the Zulus. And both are saying that the land belongs to them. And they killed Negroes for that. The apartheid regime, and Israelis were number one, defending it. So today we will look at the reason why we say that everybody is deceived. Your God is a false God. There is deception. The God they gave to you, they gave you a white boy known as Jesus Christ, which is a false God. And then they gave you something which is known as the Holy Ghost, and told you that the Holy Ghost is God. And then they gave you a false people, the Israelis, and gave you a false rapture, and gave you a false grace, and gave you a false repentance. From A to Z, A to Z, Genesis to Revelation, there is no scripture saying that come before the church and lift up your hands and say, I accept Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. You are now free. And then you are crying, you are shaking, and you are on the ground. The next day, if care is not taken, you will be smoking ganja. So the deception is too much, but I hope that you will understand. So let's go to the next slide, and then we will look at the introduction. So let's go.
Introduction. In this session, we will show you how the whole world has been deceived by presenting a fake people to the world as the chosen people of
One
God.
thing that you must know is all of these nations, they have their own gods. So the Egyptians, they had their gods. The Europeans, they had their gods. The Africans, they had their gods. How come Europeans are now telling you who the real people of God is? Which God?
Which God?
That is the question that no one is asking. That Europeans now have the audacity and the authority to tell the whole world that as for them, they've spoken to God directly, and God told them that the Israelis are the chosen people. Can you imagine this? And the whole world ought to accept this. When did the Europeans arrive on this earth? Listen to the book.
One thing that we should question is, when did Europeans see God, who then told them that the Israelis are his chosen people?
That's the thing. You look at them. Their own gods will not even speak to them. These are wicked people. These are the level of their hypocrisy is, you cannot, like, look at when one bomb goes off in Ukraine. Look at, oh my goodness, oh, we have to take it to Den Hague. Oh, this is unheard of. And when they were killing the Congos, when they were killing the South Africans, when they were bombing Muammar Gaddafi and killing him, that Hillary Clinton said, we came, we saw, we conquered. And was laughing when Mugabe and when Muammar Gaddafi was killed. When they hung Saddam Hussein and destroyed Iraq. When they destroyed Syria. They are still bombing Yemen to date. It doesn't hit the news. White people are not on the news yelling and crying, oh please. They don't give a damn. As long as your eye is not blue, they don't regard you as a human being. You mean it, I don't give a damn about Ukraine. when I look at the drones and everything, I'm like, yeah. But when I look at something in Ghana or Congo, you have to pity your own. But have you seen our people? Look, and you go through the comments. And sometimes it pains you. Then you want to even give up on Negroes. Because you see things happening in Congo and Negroes don't comment. They're like, yeah, this is what we do. But when it happens in Frankrike, all of a sudden, all Negroes have changed their background to the colors of France. That Notre Dame got burnt and Negroes were wailing.
Crying.
Hey! So we will use history and scriptures to show you that it is all but lies. That's all that we are showing you today. Next slide. Last book of Moshe 29, 20 and 9. Listen.
Deuteronomy 29, 29. The secret things belong unto
So the scripture says that the secret things belongs unto the Most High.
Thy Elohim. But those things which are revealed,
but things that have been revealed,
belong unto us.
So it is not for your son of man or your preacher to tell you he doesn't know. If he doesn't know, why are you still following him? It's like you going to school and you read the book that has been given to you, the book you will receive exams at the end of the term. And the teacher who is teaching you, go and confront him with something in the book, and the teacher is telling him he doesn't know. And you are still in the class, not going to the director to go and report it, because if you don't take care and that thing, you'll find it in your exam paper. What are you going to do? But we have taken so-called religion as, even though you claim that, it has to do with eternity, it has not gotten to us yet. So your pastor can tell you that forget about it, and you choose to forget about it. Why? Because you don't want to live any life anyway. Listen to the book.
But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children.
So the things that we are revealing to you is not only for you, it's also for the children after us. If we don't lay these foundations, then these robots that are being born, what do you think will happen to them? All that they think about is Patat and Snoop and TikTok and whatnot. So if we don't lay these foundations for them, it's finito. Listen.
That we may do all the words of this law. Blessed is he that reads.
The scripture said that blessed is the one who is reading.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy.
And the one who is hearing the words of this prophecy. What are you reading? And are you even reading at all? You don't read. Negroes are so occupied, you have no words for them. They are so busy, Negroes. Negroes with no kids. They only work 8 hours a day. And they are at home. They are not even out. Yet, they are so busy, they can't do anything. What is wrong with you? What are you doing with your time? Listen to them.
Blessed is he that reads, and they that hear the words of this prophecy.
Listen.
And keep those things which are written therein.
And keep those things which are written therein. Why?
For the time is at hand.
For ye shall know the truth, in the book of John 8.
Verse 32.
Listen.
And ye shall know the truth,
and
the truth shall make you free.
But the question is, do you know the truth? Have you identified it? The scripture said that he will send you the promise of the Abba, which is the Ruach or the Holy Spirit, which shall lead you into all truth. Your pastor tells you, no, forget about this one, we don't know. Or no, it doesn't matter. Well, we are the bride of God. So why then did the Messiah promise his people that he will have to send a promise of the Father who will lead? Because if it did not come and led us into this truth, what do you think we will be doing? We will be worshiping a white God, a white Jesus, white angels, everything white. And then you hate black. So according to you, demons are black, the devil is black. Like the very water that we drink, rivers that Yah has blessed us with, in the Congos, in Ghana, Black man see Congo River. Ah! Mama water is in the water. Eh? Yes, you drink water. So if Mama water is in that water and you are drinking water, then whose child are you? So you look. So you go there, you see that because of that, people are destroying the very life that Yah gave us. And then we come to, or we show, or they show something on maybe YouTube, and you look at the color of their rivers in Europe, and you're like, oh wow, oh so more, oh. Which river in Europe can you compare to the Congo River? But because of how we were raised up, it's like it's haram. You don't want it there. What is wrong with us? So your own mom is like, oh, there's a but your mom has never seen the so-called spirit in the river before. Yet according and the sad thing is when they come to Europe and they see Amstel River and those, they don't see a spirit, or maybe they consider those spirits as good. As for them, they are good spirit. What is wrong with black people? So once you go to yet these same white boys, when they go to Africa and they go to you see them in the rivers and they go under, and they've been filming and showing us under the sea, under the rivers of the Niles of the Congo, and we didn't find any demon or mame water there. Yet your own people will tell you, no, you don't know, you know. Next slide.
So this talks about Christian Zionism, and it says, in America, popular support for Israel has been persistently strong over the decades and has shown relatively little fluctuation, given the periodic crisis in the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Public opinion, and it continues and it said, it is the thesis of this paper that a major factor in that support is that religious doctrine commonly called Christian
So
Zionism.
what over the years has happened in, for example, America is that they have this Zionist movement and they work with these white boys, these white leaders, Benny Hinn kills. And then they've established that, if you want to be blessed, you have to bless the Jews first. You have to give them money and you have to support them. So even when they are bombing innocent children in Palestine, you have to support them. And they've perpetrated these kind of things. America, if you take the statistics, only 3% of them have ever left the country. They've never seen Israel before. Yet they have been brainwashed that they have to give their money to the Zionist people and they will be blessed. This is the main reason why America supports them. That is the normal people. But the military guy, it's not because of God. It's because of their military regime. So this is what has been done by them. So this has been established. So then it is also given to the guys like T.D. Jakes, Juanita and our people. So then, if you look at it very carefully, whenever there is a war between, it's not a war, there's a persecution against the Palestinians. Instead of, because if you're a human being, it doesn't matter who is who. Whether even God is standing, you can see God standing behind someone. As long as you see someone with the upper hand, abusing a child or shooting a child, if you are a human being, something should break in you like, hey, this is haram. But when Israelis shoot babies, and you are a Christian, you are like, yes. That's what they've done to us. So they have desensitized our sensitivity. So when they do it, let Israel invade Africa today, we'll be clapping for them. Hey, don't touch them, oh. They are the people of God. But you go there, you've seen them on on television. What is religious about these people? All that they care about is shooting you and killing you and stealing your land. The video that I showed in the month, this one crazy fat guy, Israeli, stealing a house of his neighbor, the neighbor Palestinian lady. And she's like, why are you trying to steal my house? He's like, if I don't steal it, someone else will steal it. And this is the so-called chosen of God. If he is stealing, then what would Apoka do? What would JD do? The son from hot state. What would the enslave do?
Robberies.
Yet Christians don't speak. Your preachers don't speak about this. They have painted, because like whenever you were being brought up and they spoke about the Jews, you thought like when you go there, like they are so holy, and but it's all but a fantasy. So this is all that this is about. So you've seen the source. So let's go to the next slide.
Deuteronomy 28 from 37.
I want you to. So you've seen that the background. So that's why I used America as a benchmark. Once America supports them, all the Western nations support them. Zelensky in Ukraine, that mad guy, he's an Israeli. He's a so-called Jew. So he doesn't give a damn whether Ukraine is destroyed or not. He can always go there. That's why they are supporting him. So, how come all the white boys are loving them? In this country, you can't speak about the Jews. Second World War, even when they give you data, they tell you 20 million. And you look at the Auschwitz Museum website, and they say maybe 750,000. You can't say it on YouTube, you'll be blocked. You go on the official website, it says 750,000. But who are you to go and say it up CNN? By the time you are done with the interview, your bank account is blocked. It has been frozen. You go to the Rech Bank, Nima order. Everyone is fleeing. So then, all that we have to do is let's just look at few scriptures to see whether that was the case. Because you cannot present me someone and tell me this is the person. We have to find it in the book that the whole world will love them, that the whole world will support them, that the whole world will what? Protect them. If we don't find it, then it means that a false people has been presented. Listen to the book.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 from verse 37. And thou shalt become.
Speaking about the Hebrews, the prophecy is that you will become
an astonishment.
No, you will be loved by all.
Thou shalt become an astonishment,
a
proverb,
and
a byword
among
all nations, whither Yah shall lead you.
So then it is either Yah is taught, because you can't tell me you are Yah himself is saying this, that because of your your madness, you will be hated by all nations. But these people are loved by all of the Western people. And even nations who do not love them, you cannot speak. You just do this. But the scripture just said that there will be a proverb, an astonishment, a byword among all nations. Which people fulfill this? Definitely not a white boy Israeli. Listen.
Psalms 44 from 14. Thou made us a byword among the heathen.
The heathen are America and the West. They have never known God. He made them a byword there, but when we look at the Israelis, they are not a byword. In all of these nations, they are even, you can put them at number 1. They are richer than the Dutch. If you go to America, they are richer than the ordinary. Heb je ooit een Jood, een vakkenvuller Jood gezien? They have their special schools. Their special hospitals. You go to work, you don't find them. But they live in vrijstaande ossos. Who comes and duku? Because we don't find them doing vakkenvullen and like, you know, struggling like us. But the prophecy said that they will have to be the least. But these people are not the least. They are what? The head.
That's right. Thou made us a byword among the heathen.
Listen.
A shaking of the head among the people.
28:46, listen.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So he said, these curses shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder.
And upon thy seed forever.
Till when?
Forever.
Till 1948.
Upon thy seed forever.
After Second World War.
Forever.
Until the British Empire gives you a land called Palestine.
Upon thy seed forever.
What are you people talking about? And that's why these preachers don't want to sit with us. Because they cannot find one verse to prove what they are defending. These are the words of the prophets. That these will be upon you wherever you go. You know, you can hold the masters and set up cantor, and then Packer and Pecker who there doesn't hold even a high school certificate. But when you speak, you'll be like,
overleg.
When the white boy speaks, like, yeah. When Negro speaks, nobody wants to take it. So you speak, they don't take it. So after a while, you are like, and then when you prove that is over, the same people will call you and be like, je past echt niet in deze team. Je toont geen eigen initiatief. This is what this. After all the struggles you went through the first 2 months, proposing things there, and they kept on rejecting it until the last week you were like, come what may, all of a sudden, they will always tell you, je toont geen eigen initiatief. And you look at one Peckerwood who is a manager who only smokes, and you ask yourself, yeah, something is working against us. Next slide.
This is of the book, the Jewish Almanac.
So we give you, whenever we come here and we are doing these kind of teachings, we don't only come from the biblical perspective. We also use their own sources. And if you pay attention, we don't use black sources because we know you. We know you. When it's from a black person, it's like, nah, you can't trust a nigger. Huh? What does this white boy say? And this is from the Jewish Almanac. This is from like their own source. Listen.
And it says, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite.
So, they are saying that it is incorrect, it is false to call the Hebrew Israelite.
So reading from the top right corner.
Listen.
It is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew.
So he's saying that the ancient Hebrews and the current guys you call Jews are not the same people. Listen.
It is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew and a contemporary or modern Jew an Israelite or Hebrew.
This is plain and simple. But you have lumped all of them together and you say, yeah, the Jews, they are the chosen of God. Of which God? This is from their own source. That you should never say that the ancient Hebrews are the Jews. It is incorrect. But nobody is showing you this. Next slide, listen.
At the beginning of the 1900s,
So this is Africa, Kenya, and Uganda.
considered as the promised land by the Israelis.
One thing you people don't know is the fact that these people considered Uganda, they considered Kenya, they considered Argentina, even some portion in Japan. And one thing that you don't know, that if they had gotten any of these lands, do you know what they would do? Then if, for example, they had Congo, what then they will tell you is that the River Congo is the Jordan River. That's what they've done in the Middle East. So they tell you River Congo is the Jordan River. The mountain of Congo, Mount Seir there is Zion. Go and look at that so-called Jordan River in Israel and see whether you will call it a river. It's a lie. But you believe, see how people, they go there, they go and do second baptism.
Spiritual baptism.
Yeah. A pecker would baptize them in that gutter called river, and they're like, oh, look at them. Same people will not go to Ghana or Congo. Even here, Casper Plus. When you are going to do baptism there, you tell your mama, no, you can't, there's a spirit in the river, and when the mindset is messed up. Listen.
At the beginning of the 1900s, Palestine was under Turkish rule.
So the place you call Israel today was known as Palestine. It was never known as Israel. It was known as Palestine. Listen.
And it was under Turkish rule. A negotiation between the Turks and the Zionists concerning the creation of a Jewish state in Palestine failed to progress.
Listen.
Desperate to find a sanctuary for Eastern European Jews suffering from poverty, discrimination, and deadly pogroms, Zionist leaders, particularly Herzl's assistant Leopold Greenberg, began meeting with Joseph Chamberlain and other British leaders in search of a solution within the British Empire.
Listen.
Starting in 1895.
Now, in 1895,
the British East Africa Protectorate, called Kenya since the 1920s, was administered by the British Foreign Office.
So you see that many people don't know this. It was the British people who gave them what is known as Israel today. That, you know what, come here. And the question, how come they didn't give them London? They gave a land or a portion of land to people, forgetting or even knowing sure that other people were living there. Like you living in Congo, and in those days, the king of Belgium will bring another people and tell you, this is your land, go and live here. And give them bombs and weapons, AK-47, and you have nothing. So they start to shoot you and kill you, spare your blood, steal your land in the name of God. And then Duncan Williams and those prophets are going to tell us they are blessed, and then there was this 1948, there was this Arab war, and God was with them. They were fighting against Arabs on camels. And they were being supported by America. What do you expect? These black preachers. Legend to the book.
Starting in 1895, the British East Africa Protectorate, called Kenya since the 1920s, was administered by the British Foreign Office, but development of the region was stagnant due to a lack of European settlers. In December 1902, Chamberlain, then the British colonial secretary, visited the Protectorate. He conceived of the notion of offering
and then he conceived of the notion of offering Kenya and Uganda
to the Jews.
What are you people talking about? This is only one example. They did the same thing in Algeria, in Argentina, in Japan. How come they did not consider giving Holland to them? Or Poland? This is what they've done. And it was around the same time that they also stole South Africa. told the Negroes that they were first there.
First.
White people, so Negroes are standing on the beach and see white people coming in ships. And as soon as they arrive, they say that we were here first. This land belonged to us. And America supported them. Negroes around the world, they didn't pray for South Africa. Next slide.
52. It says 52% of Israeli Jews do not believe in God.
Your pastors don't show you this. These are the so-called people of God. Yet they start 52. When they say 52, it's 92. You don't see Netanyahu and the guys talking about. They only talk about God when they want to kill you. So when they want to kill you, all of a sudden we are the chosen people. We've been scattered, and the Bible. That's what they do. Huh? In a land where if they don't remove salt from the sea water, by now River Jordan would have dried out. So now they filter the sea water and then pump that water to River Jordan so that it gets water. Otherwise, it would have dried out. When you lie in the name of Elohim, that's what happens to you. You have to keep on. Now they are using science. Huh? But River Congo is going nowhere. Or River Kilimanjaro and the Volta rivers. They are going, or the Niger River is going nowhere. Or the Nile River.
It stays.
Listen to the book.
So the sources at the bottom of the slide, it says there are even bigger gaps when it comes to believing God. About a quarter of Jews...
Blah, blah, blah is fine. They've seen it. All that we want to show you is that 50% of them, this is according to them, not us. So how can the pastors tell us these are the people of Yah, and majority of the people living there don't even believe in him? How is that possible? Yet your pastor is telling you when God can, and look at this speaker. Hi, mama. Look at him. Only these people can do this. Which Negro can do this? Your mom will disown you. Go to the next slide.
So this is of the book, The Image of the Black in Jewish Culture. Abraham Melamed is professor in the Department of Jewish History and taught at the University of Haifa, Israel. His field of expertise is medieval and early modern Jewish philosophy.
So quote, a strong European.
Oh yeah, a strong European tradition.
So this is from their own. This is a Jewish guy, not us, not a black person. He says a strong European tradition
dating back to the Middle Ages,
not a strong African tradition. And listen to the word very carefully. A strong European tradition dating back
to the Middle Ages.
Listen.
Maintained that Jews were black.
People, this is not a discreet Swata manager.
Abraham Melamed.
So you know, look at the name. Saying that what?
That the Jews were black, or at least swarty, and fine shot.
What is swarty?
Swart.
This, and they have written these books. Your pastor is not going to quote this. Even if I show them this book now, they you don't have to trust those sources. You just have to believe. Go to the next slide. Ezekiel
36 from 5. Therefore, thus saith the mighty Elohim.
Thus saith Elohim.
Surely,
in the fire
of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen.
They are but heathens. They've been stealing the same as they, and that's what people forget. They stole America, they stole Canada, they stole Australia, New Zealand, Europe. Wherever you see them, they stole it. They've been stealing lands. But all of a sudden they are telling you that as for this land they've stolen, it's not really stolen. It's for the right people.
They've restored it.
And look at the nonsense they tell you that, these people were there first and they were scattered. So they have every right to go back to where they were scattered from. So now if the Indians they killed in America now return from Mexico and Argentina and whatnot and demand from Biden that we have also returned to our own land, give us America, what would they do to them?
In prison. Put them
in prison.
Kill them.
They will assault them with their assault rifles. AR-15s and shoot them dead. But you see, when you are in religion, you don't reason, you don't sit back and be like, hey, but if you have to apply that, then everyone is doomed on this earth. Because the pygmies will also come to the Congo people, the Bantu, and tell you your fathers to get out in 24/7. Just get out. Like Malema would say, get out. Everybody will be moving. But they have brainwashed you that as for Israelis, it's fine, it's good. Listen.
Ezekiel 36 from 5. Therefore, thus saith the mighty Elohim, surely in the fire of my jealousy have
I spoken against all Idumea, which is Edom, which is Esau, which is the European, the Western world. Listen.
Which have appointed my land into their possession.
They've been stealing. They've stolen South Africa. As a matter of fact, Africa even belongs to them. They've stolen it. We will say we are the laborers. We are laboring for them. If they want to take it back today, they will take it. Who's going to fight? What do we even have to fight? The very pistol or gun you are holding was given to you by them. Once you've shot your 50 bullets that were given to you and it's finished, where are you going to get bullets from? Listen.
The next slide. This is also of the Jewish Almanac.
From 1980, listen.
Israelite, like Hebrew, became a common synonym for Jew throughout post-biblical history down to modern times, with perhaps less adaptability to pejorative usage than the other terms. Since the founding of the State of Israel in 1948, the term has come to jostle against the newer term Israeli, which is not synonymous.
In general.
Which is not synonymous. In general, Israelite means a biblical follower.
Listen to this. When we say an Israelite, not an Israeli, he is a follower of the religion of Moses.
And descendant
and he is the descendant of Jacob. But an Israeli means
a citizen of the state of Israel.
What are you people talking about?
Whether Jewish in religion or not.
That's what people don't get. They don't even know that when you go into the population of the so-called Israelis, about 40% are Arabs who worship Muhammad and his God. They don't know who hold the so-called Jewish passport and are all classified as Israelis. They don't show you this. Go to the next slide.
This is about the Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenazi Jews, also known as Ashkenazic Jews or Ashkenazim, are a Jewish diaspora population. Their traditional diaspora language is Yiddish.
Listen to this. Their language is Yiddish.
A West
But
Germanic.
They tell you it is Hebrew. So they confuse you. Your pastor will be like, but how come they speak Hebrew? They never speak Hebrew. No one speaks Hebrew on this earth. The same as Latin is not being spoken. Those languages, Asian language, they all died out. Even ancient Greek. You don't speak it anymore. Even ancient English is dead. Listen.
Their traditional diaspora language is Yiddish, a West Germanic language with Jewish linguistic elements.
A West Germanic language, which with what?
With Jewish linguistic
it's
elements.
like we haven't taken Dutch and then we put strata in it and make it our own language and call it Dutch or call it Latin. That's what they did. Listen.
The language developed during the Middle Ages after they had moved from Germany and France into Northern Europe and Eastern Europe.
They moved from where?
From Germany.
No, they moved from Israel.
They moved from
No,
Germany.
they moved from Palestine.
From Germany and France into Northern
Just
Europe.
close your eyes when you are reading the book of Genesis and Exodus. And just imagine white boys living in Egypt for 400 years. And slaves, even the Asian people, even the princes, they were not wearing these kind of garments. Their top were always, half, Which white boy can walk even today in Egypt in a singlet?
Even Zandvoort.
The sun will burn, you will see their skin burning. And you are telling us that white boys lived in Egypt for 400 years as slaves, building pyramids, and the sun didn't kill them. But today, even in Tel Aviv, they can't survive. They have to use sun cream. And among all the white boys, they are the highest when it comes to skin cancer. Why? Because they are not from the region. If you are from the region, the temperature of the region will never be against you. But you don't want to face these facts. You want to hide behind these Talita Kum movements and whatnot. This madness. That's all that you care about. Or daughter, you are loose. This TD Jakes movement. Daughter, you are... Far come with the boys. As for us, we are still in captivity.
Bound.
There is no movement for boys. Everything is for ladies. Movement thou are loose. Women this. Talita what? Far come with the boys. And you are claiming that we are the head of the house. If we are not receiving redemption, how come the ladies are receiving redemption? To go and do what? Slave. Christians. Let's go to the next slide.
So this is a picture of the Blue Letter Bible, and it shows the word Ashkenaz.
Listen.
And it says in the outline of biblical usage. Should I read that also?
Anyone, just roughly.
Okay.
Just give me the Blue Letter one. Ashkenaz is a man.
A man as sprinkled, fire as scattered, a descendant of Japheth.
A descendant of who?
A descendant of Japheth.
Of Shem?
Of Japheth.
Of Jacob?
A descendant of Japheth. A northern people. Perhaps
a what?
A northern people.
A northern people. And you know who the northern people are. Hey, these people, Listen.
Today, reading from the right, today Ashkenazim, plural for Ashkenazi, constitute more than 80%.
When you take all the so-called Israelis on this earth, 80% of them are Ashkenazis. Pure-blooded Europeans, that's all that it means. When you take their DNA and that of a Polish person is the same. How come they don't move all of these Polish people to Israel? And you see this, and look at this, and that's why I mentioned Zelensky. Look at him. What is the difference between that guy and Netanyahu? The same people. Yet he's called what? A Ukrainian. That's how they deceive you. But if he was wearing that nonsense thing on his head and he was at the Western Wall and you saw him, hey, he's the cleric. You would think he's a Levite.
Today, Ashkenazi constitute more than 80% of all the Jews in the world, vastly outnumbering Sephardic Jews. In the early 21st century, Ashkenazi Jews numbered about 11 million. In Israel, the numbers of Ashkenazim and Sephardim are roughly equal.
Go to the next slide.
Reading from the left, it says, the southern provinces of Russia were spoken of as the land of the Khazars, especially by Jewish writers, long after the Russian conquest about the year 1000, and the Crimea was known to European travelers as Gazaria.
See what I was telling you? They put names. Crimea region, the land Russia is now taking back. They used to call it Gazaria. So now you go to Palestine, they call it Gaza Stroke. That's what they do. But the Gaza of the Bible is in Zimbabwe area. Gaza land. But your pastor is not going to teach you this. And on your right,
it says, Alush.
That is the writer, the author.
It says, there were 10 million Jewish Khazars. Thus, the Jews of Eastern Europe, who were the most Zionistic, did not originate in the kingdom of Judah and were not
listen to
Shemites.
this. He said that they did not originate
in the kingdom of Judah
and were not
Shemites.
But now, when you say something against an Israeli, they call you anti-Semite. And when that word is used against you, your own mama will reject you. You can't work. You can't do anything on this earth. You have to maybe flee to North Korea. As for them, they don't give a damn. So you see that everything they have been is a lie. And these are their own sources. Let's look at this. This is a 13th tribe. We don't even have to read. We are just showing you this. When you have time, you Google it. The 13th tribe. This is an Israeli man. He's a Jew, so-called, who wrote this book, Artakusla. And he said that, Jacob had 12 sons. So they are the 12 tribes of Israel. And you look at them and they did their own research, and then they came to the conclusion that in order for these so-called Israelis to be known as the people of the book, there has to be a 13th tribe. But there's no 13th tribe in the scriptures. So he's telling you that they are but what? Fake people. When he launched the book, they killed him after that and his wife. Next slide. Let's look at their DNA. Because you can lie about everything, but your DNA does not lie. Listen.
Ashkenazi Jews' mysterious origins unraveled by scientists thanks to ancient DNA.
Listen.
For a more scientific take on the Jewish origins debate, recent DNA analysis of Ashkenazi Jews, a Jewish ethnic group, revealed that their maternal line is European.
That's all that I want. When you have time, you can read the rest. They are Europeans. They said it's only 3%.
Which links them
that
with
you
the
can
Eastern
link them
Mediterranean.
maybe to the Middle East, 3%. So you can make it 1%. And that is because of intermarriages and stuff. So you are telling me that 97% of them they have nothing to do with them. No wonder they are developing skin cancer. People, this is their DNA, not mine. Because maybe the Bible you will not believe, so DNA too you don't believe. So when you have time, you can read the rest. That's all that you have to know. Only 3% of their DNA. And when you do DNA match, the minority, like if you have 1%, 5% from, we don't classify you as it. It's like you do a DNA test and 90% shows you are from Congo, 2% shows you are from Portugal. No one is going to tell you are Portuguese.
So the origin of Ashkenazi Jews.
Even this we can skip, eh?
It's the same.
It's simple. It's just simple. When you have time, just Google it, the origin of the Ashkenazi Jews. The good thing is that they are not hiding anything anymore, but who are you going to go and remove them? They have the guns. Whilst you are in your churches praying for them for so-called protection from God, they are into science, building iron dome and laser beams to destroy the small rockets from the jihadi from Palestine. And you are there praying for them. They are not doing prayers. They are doing real things.
Real battle. Spiritual.
Creating macabre tanks and whatnot. You throw a stone, you are a boy, the tank, they just aim at your head. They are in a tank and a boy is just throwing a stone against a metal object. They just blow your head off. And call it collateral damage. But when Putin does what is wrong with this world? Eh? I tell you, if white people come to Africa right now, and they want to enslave us back, 99% of the people will clap and welcome them and give them the land. Take it. We are sick as a people. Eh? Look at the footballer they killed, that Congo boy. What do you hear about this white boy playing football and they go and party and then someone kills them? But black people, we kill people because of chicken and because of a behind of a woman. So many women on this edge are fighting over one lady and killing someone. Go to the next slide.
Revelation chapter 11 from verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yah, and the altar and them that worship therein.
Why?
But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread on the foot 40.
These people have taken over everything. They've taken over Africa. They've taken over the Middle East. And look at them here. Look at the picture. They can take a knife and divide Africa. Like cutting cake or pizza in slices. And give a big country like Congo to Belgium, which is not even bigger than your father's village. Listen to the book. The next slide.
Revelations 2 from 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
People, when this was written thousands of years, it's a prophecy. Who has been going around the world saying that they are the Jews? Because black people were not doing that. When you are something, you don't claim to be it. Go and show this to your pastor, he will tell you it's spiritual. It's not physical, it's spiritual. You have to be in the spirit to understand these black folks. 3 verse 9.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan,
which say
they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet.
So I'm just showing you scriptures to just revive your brains to see that, hey, whatever they are telling you is but false. I'm showing you examples so that you can just compare it to these people. And then if you still can draw the conclusion that they are the people, then even Satan will not accept you. It means that there's something wrong with your whole immune system. The book of Joel 3 verse 2, listen.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
And I will plead with them
there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
The thing is, when were these people scattered? That's the first question. Listen to Zecharia 2 verse 4.
And said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as town without walls.
Listen to this very carefully. This is This is from the mouth of the angel, saying that go and speak, because the guy was disturbed. And we are going into captivity. When shall we return? He said that go and tell him to hold on. That Jerusalem shall be rebuilt once again as a town
without walls.
Without
walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein.
Because of the multitude of what?
Men,
and because of the number of people that live there and the cattle that we will have, you cannot build. It can't contain them. How many people are living there in what you call Palestine or Israel? And look at your right. What do you see there?
Walls.
This country is full of walls. That's why I'm saying that either Yah was totally like he was scaffer when he was speaking this. Something was wrong with him, because you can't tell me it will be without walls and this is full of walls. And this was not from only one person. What does Ezekiel say?
In Ezekiel 38:11, and thou shalt say,
I will
go up to the land of unwalled villages.
People, these are prophecies.
All of them dwelling without walls.
You see, and he keep on, and that's Yah is so bright and he is so wise. That's why he's showing you these things, because he knows that false people will come. The same as the Messiah told that a false Messiah will come. If a false Messiah will come, then what do you think the people will be? Then a false people will also come. So you've read this, you've seen it, that it will be a city, a place without walls. And look at the present day Israel on your right.
Man-made walls.
Go to the next slide. This is from 2 Chronicles 32 verse 9. Look at it.
Later, when Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and all his forces were laying siege to Lachish, he sent his officer to Jerusalem.
This is at the British Museum. So this is not from Congo or Ghana. And just look at the pictures. This is from the king of Judah. And the people who were, just look at their coconut head like mine. And the kinky weary. And compare this guy to Zelensky and Netanyahu. People, come on.
So these were Hebrew slaves.
Yes. So all of a sudden their ages have moved from coconut head like mine to what the Zionist people now have. And look at their heights. It's us. It's Bantu people.
And the Krenta.
And the Krenta weary. Now they show you this propeller head that these people have to mislead you to think that is locks. That is not locks.
Which lock?
These people they lie more than the devil. People, just look at this. This is in the British Museum, not our museum. So all of a sudden, Elohim changed them, their head and everything from this, and made them look like Zelensky and Netanyahu. You can lie, but images don't lie. Go to the next slide. I'm just showing you examples, and just compare it to the people. Just look at the photos on your right, and let's look at prophecy. Leviticus 18:20 and 7:28.
For all these abominations have the men of the land done which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that
So
were
before
before
we
you.
entered into the promised land, Yah warned us that you are being given this land because the people there sinned. They committed abominable acts. If you go there and you also do these abominable acts, the land itself will spew you out. These people have been there for now almost 100 years. The land is flourishing. Yet look at the pictures on your right. The biggest gay parade on this whole earth is there in Tel Aviv.
Wow.
How come the earth doesn't spew them out? It's either that portion of the land they are showing you is the original land, is not, or something is wrong. Listen.
Numbers 35 from 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defiles the land.
The land
Cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein.
So how come these? Look at the people they kill. They keep on killing the Palestinians like chickens, and the land accepts them. It's either the land is wrong, the location they are showing us is wrong, or the people they have given us is also wrong, or both. Listen to the book.
Ezekiel 7 from 21. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey,
See?
and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robber shall enter into it and defile it.
They've stolen everything. So how come, this is what is happening there? If you compare it to the scriptures, it doesn't make sense. And one thing that pisses me off is the preachers don't show you these things. They don't show you the gay parade. Because you will then ask, what is the pastor's name? Pastor Dominic from Pastor. How come they are the people of Zambia, and they are, most of them are party managers. Listen to the book. Listen to the next slide.
So this one is called Indigenous African Origins, talking about the Hebrews. In the year 66, Josephus, from his book, The Great Roman Jewish War, where he writes about this Jewish dispersion and captivity, General Vespasian and his son Caesar Titus fought against the Jews.
And millions of
Jews fled into Africa.
They fled into Europe.
Millions of Jews fled into Africa,
among
other places, fleeing from Roman persecution and starvation during the siege.
You are telling me that, let's say, 5 million white Jews, they fled into Africa during the persecution. And today we don't find them in Africa. What happened? When did they go back to Europe? They just disappeared.
So millions of Jews fled into Africa.
15 in 115 CE, listen.
It says there were many Hebrew tribes that were of indigenous African origin. These African Jews were caught in a rebellion in Cyrene during the year 115.
It is in Syria. Cyrene is in Africa, people. Listen.
This rebellion also marked the beginning of a mass Hebrew or Jewish migration southward into Sudan of West Africa.
Sudan meaning Judah. So it's either we are dreaming. Because you can't tell me in those, if it was let's even put the figure at 1 million Jews, white Jews, moving into Africa. Once they begin to give birth, by now they will have not less than 400 million white boys living in Africa. What happened to them? Where did they vanish to? The rapture already happened. Huh? That's why when you lie, you have to like keep on inventing stuff. But it doesn't make sense. And we keep on telling you, if let's use that location as the real location, and Roman Empire was above them, and is persecuting you, coming down
from the north,
coming to come and kill you, will you run to the north?
Run to Europe.
He's coming down to kill you, and you are embracing them. Where is the logic in this? But because of religion, you don't want to see it. Look at the next slide.
So this is of the book called From Babylon to Timbuktu.
Listen.
Reading from
in the year
in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Listen.
In the year 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
Because this is common sense. Someone who is... So let me use this example. For example, let's say we are now fighting against, let's say Russia is persecuting you. You are found in, let's say, northern Africa. On top of all of you is Russia. They are persecuting your people, coming down to kill the rest. And you are shown the way, run for your soul, run for your life. Where will you go to? Will you go up for you to be killed faster? Or you go down?
You go down.
The rapture already took place. Because this doesn't make sense anymore.
It also says that the slave markets were full of black Jewish Hebrew slaves.
Listen.
And Elohim shall scatter thee among all people, from the book of Deuteronomy 28, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other els or gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
That's all that I want. So people, you've seen sources. Go to the next slide. It's from the Critical Review, the Annals of Literature. This is a must-have ebook. It's an ebook, so you don't have to buy it. So download it. When you want to know about the Inquisition, here's where you go. Give me the ones in red. On
King
page
John,
141.
King John II,
Listen.
in the year 1492,
Expelled
all the Jews to the island of San Tome, which had been discovered in 1471.
Where is San Tome at?
West Africa.
So in 1492, he expelled all white Jews into Africa. So then, once you go to San Tome now, it should be full with white Jews. Otherwise, something is really wrong. Listen.
He expelled all the Jews to the island of San Tome, which had been discovered in 1471.
Listen.
And to other Portuguese settlement on the continent of Africa.
Oh, come on. This is their own literature, eh? He didn't move them to Europe. He didn't move them to Poland or Ukraine or Russia. He moved them to the source.
The continent of Africa.
Called...
And from these banished Jews...
Listen, they were banished Jews, and what were they called?
The Black Portuguese.
No, white Israelis.
The Black Portuguese.
White guys.
The Black Portuguese.
People, this is a book from 19 when?
19...
This is from 18 something.
Exactly. Normally it's on the left.
Yeah. 1847 or something, I think. And he is saying that the Jews were called what?
The Black Portuguese, as they are called.
Black what?
Black Portuguese. And
so can you look at this? What is their name?
Israelis.
Israelis, and call them black. Black Portuguese. When you see these Israelis, You can call, hey, black Portuguese, what's up? Hey, black man. Huh? Listen.
And they are called the Jews in Luango.
You see, they are called what?
Jews in
Where is Luango?
In Angola.
So white people are living there. Now Angola is full of white people. And who are despised even by the very
Negroes.
The pygmies is what they mean. The original people who were living there. This is their own literature showing you that they were referred to as black Portuguese, also known as the Moors, Moreno, Swati. All of a sudden, when did we refer to white people as Swati and Morenos and black Portuguese and Moors? That's why because they've been lying, the same as the Moors. Oh, they were Arabs. And so then you just shut down. Oh, if they are Arabs, then it means that they look like how they are Arabs. Until you do the research. And then you find out no. All of them were black. The next slide.
This one is of the book called Races of Men by Robert Knox.
From 1850.
And it says, only the red, eh?
Yes.
As I attentively surveyed the Jewish population.
This is 1850. Before, this was like you mentioned in the time of the Opus. And this guy said that he was in London, and he surveyed the Jewish population on the streets of London. And what happened?
Of the first form, I need say little to you, begging you merely to recollect that the contour is convex, the eyes long and fine, the outer angles running towards the temples, the brow and the nose apt to form a single convex line, the nose comparatively narrow at the base, the eyes consequently approaching with each other, lips very full.
Very thick, like that of Shambui.
Lips very full, mouth projecting, chin small, and the whole physiognomy when swarty.
When swarty, black is often and has an
African look.
No, an European look.
It has an African look.
People did this 1850 in the days of your Opus. And this is a white boy saying that back then in the street of London, when he looked at the Hebrews or the one you call Jews, they were just like Africans. What happened to them?
Michael Jackson transformation.
But your pastor won't show you this. So then what happened? That's why we found the Northern African, that's what happened. Give me the next slide.
This one is called of the book Africa, being an accurate description of the regions. And it says, many Jews also are scattered over this region.
Listen.
From natives boasting themselves of Abraham's seed, inhabiting both sides of the river Niger.
Where is the river Niger at?
In West Africa.
So the Jews were living in West Africa? Are you really serious about this? Like they were living in Fantaland and Ashantiland and Liberia and Nigeria, Igbo land. White Jews were living there when? Listen.
And it says, should I read it from there? So they were inhabiting both sides of the river Niger. Others are Asian, from Judea. Wow, difficult to read.
Where are you now?
From Judea, wasted in the popular.
Depopulated by the Romans, Persians, Saracens.
Excuse me. So inhabiting both sides of the river Niger, others are Asian strangers who fled thither, either from the depopulation of Jerusalem.
So Middle East is what they used to call Asia.
Or from Judea, wasted and depopulated by the Romans, Persians, and Saracens.
Saracens, all of them are black people. Go and look at this movie. Morgan Freeman was in that movie.
Yeah, you mentioned it a few times. I forgot.
Saracens are black people. Listen to the book.
Or wasted by Saracens and Christians, or else such as came out of Europe, whence they were banished.
See, which we just read from the previous. They were banished, Moors, Morinos, that were banished in the days of the Spanish Inquisition. And they just came back from where they were originally.
That's right.
And they were what? Black.
The ones were torn from the bosom of their parents and sent to the newly discovered island of San Tome. The majority of these children died during the voyage or were the prey of wild beasts upon their arrival.
Wild beasts. Where are the wild beasts at? Where are the wild beasts in Europe? The lions and the tigers. Where are they in Europe here? They don't even have snakes. Here you can go to Haspa Place and walk. Go Congo, your village, and go and walk in the bush and see. Here you can just walk in this Amsterdam bus. There's no snake. People, go to the next slide. These people.
So this one is called the Sonchino Shumash. And it says, the Egyptians, this is of Abraham Cohen in 1950, and it says the Egyptians are dark.
So you know that he's a Jewish man.
Cohen.
He said that the Egyptians are
dark-skinned and ugly,
proving that
they were black people.
And I keep on saying this to you, when Jacob went into Egypt, so this guy, so now we know that the Egyptians were black. Let's say they were Jacob and his boys, they were like, let's say 70 souls. Let's say they were all white, and even their eyes were white. Let's give it to them, And they moved into Egypt, black people, lived there for 400 years. What do you think they were doing? Intermarriages. For 400 years, you come out with million souls. Which color do you think they will be?
Dark skin.
According to you, they were still white. Look at the next slide.
This talks about the Limba tribe, and it says in the top left corner, Limba tribe in southern Africa has Jewish roots. Genetic test.
And this revealed. Look at this journal, this article. And this is what they've been doing, and we keep on telling you. Everybody on this earth knows that the Limbas are black people. You can see him on the left. But look at the picture they have put on this article. And look at even they call it the Lost Tribe, and they put even Zimbabwe there.
Yeah, at the right.
And they put Filipino pictures. The Zimbabweans are Filipinos. Can you imagine this? This is what they do.
The audacity.
Like Filipinos are, no wonder Shalom, that guy in Filipino says the Garden of Eden is in Filipino. Maybe he saw this. He's been brainwashed by them because of this. What a madness. This is what they do. Now, people, if they can do this in this generation, then what do you think happened? When there were no journals and there were no they are doing this on television. And this is what they showed on National Geographic. If they can do this now and say the Lost Tribe of Zimbabwe and show you Filipinos. Then when there were no pictures, what do you think they were giving to you after the Dark Ages? What do you think they did? Go to the next slide.
So the color of Jews, according to Eusebius.
This is from 1899. The 1819 lesson.
It says, here a singular analogy presents itself. Eusebius in his Chronicles says in a year corresponding to the year 1575.
In 1575, almost 600 years before the Messiah.
that Ethiopians coming from the river Indus encamped and settled near Egypt.
So Ethiopians were the same people that were living in Egypt. Listen.
The Jews, by their own avowal, being of a Chaldean
And he
race.
said that the Jews or the Hebrews were also from the Chaldean race.
Which is a branch of black Arabs.
It is of the branch of who?
A branch of black Arabs.
What are you people talking about? It follows that they are real
Ethiopians.
and the Indus or Black River. Eh? People. Eh? So here you have a picture of them. The next slide. The Chaldeans. Look at their picture. And this is from them, eh? Do these people look like Netanyahu people or Ethiopic people with Afro hair? Huh? You don't know what to show you anymore. Go to the next one.
So this is of the book What is Truth, written in 1871, and it says, Jews who remained in the Jordan Valley were as black as any of the Ethiopian races.
People, come on. Huh? There's a white boy in 1871 in the time of your opus. In the Jordan Valley, eh? The Jordan Valley is what they call the Middle East. That they were black as what any of the Ethiopians. That's why I'll show you the clip of North Africa and Israel after the First World War. What color were they? Huh? In the Jordan, it's not even talking about Africa. Eh? Jordan Valley is where present day Palestine is. That in his time, all the Jews there just look at like the Ethiopians. Are the Ethiopians white? Just look at the next slide.
Pictures.
Just look at the Hebrews and the Egyptians. Just have a look. They are white boys. Give me the next slide. Look at these people.
Purple.
And you can still find them today in Sudan, in Kenya. The traditions are still alive. The locks, the hairstyle, you know it. It's nothing new. Give me the next one. Look at them. Where are the white boys? Or the Arabs? In conclusion, listen. The next slide.
Israel to be renewed for his name's sake. In Ezekiel 36, verse 22, therefore say unto the house of Israel,
I said, Abba Elohim.
I do not this for your sakes.
He said, this thing he is doing, this revival, this enlightenment, it's not doing it because of you. You've not changed. You are still the same. I do not this for your sake,
O house of Israel,
but
for my
because
holy
he has
name's
spoken,
sake,
because he has spoken.
which ye have profaned among the heathen,
Said,
whither ye
you
went.
have even profaned among the heathen, wherever we went. You've seen the pictures of the malls. Look at how they were dressing. They were living large, as if there was no tomorrow. He said that wherever he scattered us to, we still profane his name to date. Whether West Africa, whether Asia, whether Latino land, whether Europe, we don't change. Listen.
And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen,
Listen.
which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yah, saith Yah Elohim, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
I will be sanctified in you before. So even though we are scattered in Babylon, things are happening. Changes are happening. We are being enlightened. But yet the world doesn't know. The Christian community doesn't know. This is all but prophecy. Listen.
When I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes,
Listen.
for I will take you from among the heathen.
See, he will take us from among all the heathen
and gather you out of all countries.
And it is Yah who will gather us from all of the countries, not British Empire or America. And do what?
And I will bring you into your own land.
And I will put
my spirit within you.
So when we are all gathered, his spirit will be in us.
And cause you to walk in my statutes.
So how come these people have been gathered? And there's gay parade in Tel Aviv.
Which spirit is that?
And the spirit is in them, and there's gay parade in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem. When they show you the pictures and the videos, and you see Jerusalem, see they made it look like ancient, the buildings. So when you are a fool like most people are, you think, oh yeah, look at the ancient. Everything is modern. They just built it that way. So don't think that the buildings you see there, they are thousands of years.
They are fresh.
They are fresh, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. It's the same like here you have certain places like the dam when they are building, they don't use these ancient like modern glasses things. They use the bricks so that the place you will always be like, oh, this is the ancient Amsterdam. That's what Europeans do. But black people, when they go, they say, I'm like, yeah, look at them. Signs and wonders is what you are after. And that they will give you. Listen to the book.
And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers.
And ye shall be
my people.
And I
will be your Elohim.
Is this not plain and simple? These are external sources. And these are from the scriptures. Back and forth, all saying the same thing. So if after this you still believe these white boy Israelis are from the scriptures, then either there's palm oil in your brains.
Too much
palm oil.
And fat.
Too much fat from the goat meat. Motor oil day on it. Or something is really, really wrong. And that's what we keep on saying. They can just say, oh, the Igbos are Hebrews. And you don't just be like, hey, wait a minute. How come you are now telling us the Igbos who are Bantu, black people, are Hebrew? And you white boys are also Hebrew? How is that possible? Because Jacob and the people he married were all black. They were all of the same stock. Some were not white and some were black. And even if you are to go by that and you take only the Igbos, then it means that they are even in majority. There are 40 million Igbos. Jews are 20 million. So you can take 5 million from it and make 50. They are lying to you. When you get them, that's what they do. Because they only came up because they were now being confronted from the street. People are now asking questions. So now, all of a sudden, in the Igbos, we saw that. And then all of a sudden they go there. What would they do? Now they give you their Yiddish culture. And they want to take over and now they are wearing the things. But your tradition, you are not putting anything on your head. So please, these are the words. Pray about them. Take life easy. Don't rush. Do your own research. Next week, There will be another one. What is next week's topic?
Need to.
There will be
post that
another
on
one.
Instagram.
And hopefully you will get something from it. So keep researching. This was on the Israelis. The question is, if these people are false, then the religion you claim you are in, what is it? Next week we'll show you Apostle Paul, the lover boy of the Christians. Paul said, and Paul, I've never heard them say that Moses, and Paul, and Apostle Paul, the dark man. And and the Apostle Paul, Paul said, and Paul, and God exalted him so that he could even say that I say. I don't take any nonsense from Paul saying that he said. Who is he? That he said. He said what? That is his own opinion. I also have my own opinion. We go by that said Elohim, not what Paul said. So please hold on, pack your ears, and do your research, and don't let them lie to you with this. And Paul said, and the grace, and this. And, next week, by the message of here, we will show you about Paul, and then the week after, we will also show you something else, so that you will get an understanding. So keep on praying for us, but pray for yourself as well. These were the words from the poor preacher. Until we meet again, salam, salam, salam.
So this is the end of today's program. We thank you guys for tuning in until this point. You have been shown many sources. You have been shown a lot of information. Know that from all the information that there is, this is maybe only 5% of the total that you can get. So if you have any questions, if you have any contributions, if you do not agree with some point somewhere, know that you can always approach us, send us a question or send us a message. Or if you are in the neighborhood, even join one of the Bible studies so that you can find out for yourself if what we say is true. Tell a friend to tune in. Keep an eye on our social media pages. We will update you guys on the topic that we are about to touch. And if you think there is a topic that you would like us to discuss, or there's a topic you think we have missed, you can also send us a message about that, and we will try to handle it as we go. This is the Hour of Restoration. Hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is the Hour of Restoration. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath. Salam.